Hello, welcome to HITC Sport. Alright lads, it's so important to get a Premier League managerial appointment right. As we know, many clubs, most clubs, every club has botched an appointment at least once. Resisting Klopp and Pep to hire David Moyes, Ed Woodward might as well have gone around knocking on the doors of Manchester United fans to personally punch them in the face. But can you imagine the list of weird appointments your club almost made? The managers who had no business being linked with your club, but were anyway. Let's take a look at your club's most mental almost appointment. Arsenal, Zeljko Buvac. Sometimes I just think the Arsenal board purposefully try to see how many brains they can melt in the Arsenal fan base with their god-awful decisions. Sacking Unai Emery, yeah, great decision, he had to go. But on what planet does Paulo Sousa ever come into the reckoning? A lad who hasn't managed in England since 2010 when he lasted less than 3 months in the Championship with Leicester City.
Paulo Sousa responds to a surprise link with Arsenal manager's job. Arsenal made contact with Paulo Sousa. Paulo Sousa's representatives confirm interest to replace Unai Emery.
If Arsenal replace a 3-time Europa League winner with a QPR flop, come on lads, think of the poor souls at AFTV. They're already rising their blood temperatures to dangerous levels whenever they accidentally burn a slice of toast. Can you imagine how they would react to this news? I wouldn't be surprised if some of them went home and chucked their cat in a microwave. But still no, Sousa still doesn't make this list. No, step forward, Zeljko Buvac. And what is going on with my hair? Jurgen Klopp's former assistant.
Report claims Buvac will take over at Arsenal.
With Arsene Wenger's retirement imminent, Arsenal were actually linked with Buvac, some lad who's made a career out of sticking cones out in training. There's a man who looks like Severus Snape after a botched sex change, and you want to give him the job? Mikel Arteta, Rui Faria, Zeljko Buvac, all three assistant managers, and yet somehow linked with Arsene Wenger's job. This would have been the first time Arsenal appointed a manager in over 20 years. It's almost as if they just forgot how to do it. It's a bit like when you go a decade or two without the touch of a female woman, and so when the chance finally comes, you just spend the night trying to stick it in her ear.
I think Buvac would be scary for you, like.
Scary? It's 18 months later. Where is Buvac now? Probably still tucking himself under the breakfast table to photos of Harry Potter's dead mom. Christ, I started this video weird. Aston Villa, Thierry Henry. Yeah, remember when Aston Villa sacked Steve Bruce in October 2018? It was a dark time at Villa. The results weren't happening. Cabbages were being tossed through the air like dwarves at a Jordan Belfort conference. Oh yeah, and the defence hadn't kept a clean sheet in weeks. Bit like a man with a punctured bladder. So Villa's answer to this was this.
Thierry Henry favoured to take over as Aston Villa manager.
Why? I think we've all seen now that Henry has proven that he's just not cut out for management after lasting about 6 weeks at Monaco and almost single-handedly steering them off a cliff. And you might say, oh, he's landed on his feet at Montreal Impact. Clearly they must see something in him. Oh really? Do you know who he's replacing? Remy Gard, and good lord, ask any Villa fan alive on the planet whether he's any good. Bournemouth Gary Johnson. Okay lads, I'll admit it, Eddie Howe has been safe in his seat since 2012. And surprisingly, it's quite hard to go and find anyone who was linked with a job in League 2 over 9 bastard years ago. It's almost as if none of this was ever archived because they didn't think anyone would care. So this is me making a plea to all 7 Bournemouth fans who watch my channel. Fill in this one for me, alright? What mental appointment almost came in at your club? I mean, I do know that Gary Johnson at Yeovil was linked with them. The man currently coaching Torquay United in the goddamn conference. Brighton and Phil Neville.
Phil Neville in line to replace Gus Poyet at Brighton. I got offered a job in the summer, Brighton, and I turned it down, and people close to me thought I was stupid.
No, Phil, I don't think you were stupid. I think Brighton were stupid. Sacking Gus Poyet and trying to lead a promotion charge with Gary Neville's brother, Burnley Paul Ince.
Paul Ince is top contender for Claret's job.
Remember this month 10 years ago when Burnley were plunged into free fall after Owen Coyle walked out on them for Bolton. It was their first season in the Premier League and they were abandoned by their boss halfway through. It's like throwing a toddler headfirst into a pool and yanking off their water wings as soon as they reach the deep end. Pretty soon you'd have a pre-dead baby on your hands. Well, that's what happened at Burnley, replacing Owen Coyle with Brian Laws, only marginally less bizarre than nearly appointing Paul Ince, a man who had spent his last Premier League job writing shoot on his notepad. Great revolutionary tactics, lad. Chelsea, Emma Hayes. You know, having Gracia, the lad currently stuck down the Dole office and who made me spend Christmas sleeping in a bin. Oh yeah, I managed to somehow lose a cup final by 6 goals. Not too long ago he was being tipped as Sarri's successor. The lingering threat of Mark Hughes sniffing around the Stamford Bridge hot seat has lingered like a bad smell for about 10 years. But here's a rumour that nearly caused Chelsea fans to tear out chunks of their own brain.
Could Hayes manage Chelsea men? Chelsea women's coach Emma Hayes has been linked with the men's job should Maurizio Sarri leave the club this summer. Emma Hayes to become Chelsea manager? Pat Nevin makes prediction.
Hayes herself was even coming forward and actually saying that she would consider the job. Listen lads, alright. The women's game has made big strides. The Women's World Cup was fantastic, but I don't think the game is quite ready for it. I mean, the first female Premier League coach replacing a man off to coach Ronaldo, she'd be handed the task of gaining the respect of not only the fans, but the players themselves, all doing this while also having to come to terms with the shackles of a transfer ban. Maybe one day women might coach in the Premier League, but that would have been mental. Crystal Palace, Ian Dowie. When Ian Holloway, Crystal Palace, face down in a ditch, rooted to the foot of the league with just 1 point after 7 games, they needed a miracle to survive. Tony Pulis was the correct option, but he wasn't first choice.
Ian Dowie took for Crystal Palace return in place of Ian Holloway.
Right, aside from being born with a face that looks as though it's been repeatedly trampled by a herd of steaming antelopes, good lord, his wife must close her eyes and think of England. Dowie has also contributed to 5 relegations in his career. What? And by the way, lads, this is your annoying mid-video reminder. Try and hit 400k as soon as possible. If you could slap that subscribe button, very much appreciated. Now let's get back into it. Everton, Phil Neville. Yeah, the link with Jose Mourinho to Everton earlier this year was also slightly weird. But considering Everton later went on and got Carlo Ancelotti, maybe Everton are a more attractive prospect than I thought. Who knew eventually coaching John Joe Kenny and how to defend was such a tantalising prospect? So let's go back a few years to 2013 when David Moyes quit the club for Old Trafford. And suddenly, this happens.
Phil Neville pitches for the vacant Everton manager's job.
You're somebody's club captain for nearly 10 years, and the moment he walks out the door, you interview for his job. Would you jump in his grave so quickly, Phil? Leicester, Roy Hodgson.
Roy Hodgson in running to replace Claudio Ranieri as Leicester City manager.
This would have been a strange one. Considering Hodgson's stock at the time, you know, primarily being a laughing one after Euro 2016, replacing a current Premier League champion with the lad who stuck Harry Kane on corner kicks and was sacked after the Iceland game before he even managed to make it to the toilet. Oh, this would have been daring. And to be honest, I'm not sure Leicester fans would have ever accepted it. Liverpool, Pep Guardiola. The summer of 2012 was strange. Apparently both Pep Guardiola and Roberto Martinez found themselves on the same shortlist for the same job. It's like Steve Jobs going head to head with Kendall Jenner to become Apple's CEO. And the only reason she would have a chance of getting that job is because he's currently rotting in a box 6 feet under the ground. I mean, come on. Pep Guardiola is a Champions League 2-time winner, and Roberto Martinez was a coach at Wigan, and yet he was the one who got the interview. But still, alright, expecting Guardiola to cut short his gap year to take over a club 8th in the league with Andy Carroll up front, they might as well have put the Cookie Monster on the shortlist. They had about the same chance with him. Going from Xavi and Iniesta to Charlie f***ing Adam, a man who looks like he smells a wet armpit, Pep would probably have spent his first night at Anfield getting sick in the sink. Man City, Brendan Rodgers. I remember in the early parts of 2009, after Man City just launched a 100 million bid for Kaká, they were also being linked with another Brazilian World Cup winner, Luis Felipe Scolari. 2015 was the year they were linked with Rafa Benitez as interim coach. All strange possibilities. But the big one, Brendan Rodgers. Not only did he reject the offer of an assistant role under Roberto Mancini in 2010, he was also linked with a switch to the Etihad as an actual manager in April 2013, after less than a year at Anfield.
Rodgers that. Manchester City want Liverpool boss to replace Roberto Mancini.
I'm not saying it wouldn't have been a good move, but considering Rodgers would be going head to head with City in a direct title race the next season, bit of a weird link. Man United, Steve Bruce. I mean, don't get me wrong, replacing a 3-time Premier League winner with some failed Cardiff reject was bad enough, but the links with Steve Bruce last Christmas were also pretty mental. I thought that ship had sailed. Over the previous 20 years of mediocrity, we'd kind of whittled down once potential future Fergie successors. We'd sort of realised that, you know, the likes of Roy Keane, Mark Hughes and Steve Bruce, former protégés of the man, were just mid-table fodder at best, and even at that I'm being generous. And yet here we were in late 2018, and Steve Bruce, the championship playoff specialist himself, a lad who just spent the previous month dodging truant vegetables tossed from the crowd, here he was getting tipped for the Old Trafford job. That shows how farcical the recruitment process actually was.
Sacked Aston Villa boss Steve Bruce back to replace Jose Mourinho. Steve Bruce should succeed Jose Mourinho as Manchester United manager, says Paul Ince. Man United hero Steve Bruce back to replace boss after Aston Villa axe.
Newcastle Sir Alex Ferguson. You could have an entire subcategory dedicated just to potential Newcastle managers. How about almost replacing Rafa Benitez with Chap Stam, a managerial casualty at Reading? How about trying to reinstall Sam Allardyce? Despite Mike Ashley's first port of call at the club being to sack him after 6 months, being linked with Jose Mourinho about 3 weeks before hiring Bruce was bizarre, as was Newcastle trying to replace Kevin Keegan with Paul Ince, a man bottom of the league with Blackburn. Then again, it wouldn't be the first time the club replaced a club legend with a man bottom of the league with Blackburn now with it. The fact that when Alan Pardew left after 4 years, the new favourite for the job was Fabrizio Colaccini. But no, this was the move that almost changed English football as we know it.
Newcastle tried to lure Sir Alex Ferguson from Manchester United after Kevin Keegan's exit in 1997, claims former chairman Freddie Shepherd.
If Newcastle actually thought that they were going to be able to persuade Sir Alex Ferguson to trade Manchester United for the Barron Trophy graveyard that was St James's Park, it's like me assuming I could persuade Margot Robbie to leave her Beverly Hills mansion for a life of squalor with a YouTuber who, I'll be honest lads, hasn't had a shower since November, unless you count gallons and gallons of milk. Norwich, Sam Allardyce. Yeah, I don't get it either. October 2018, Norwich are flying high towards promotion, and yet still, Sam Allardyce gets linked with the job. 3 years ago, he was an England manager. 2 years later, and he's having his name littered across various championship clubs. Poor old Big Sam. Sheffield United, Gareth Southgate.
Sheffield United want Gareth Southgate as manager.
Remember back in 2013, with Sheffield United stuck in the dregs of League One, they decided to pass on Gareth Southgate, a future England manager, in favour of David Weir, a lad who's currently struggling to get a job at Burnley. Burger King. Southampton Chris Coleman.
Ex-Sunderland boss reportedly linked with the Southampton job as pressure grows on Ralph Hasenhüttl.
Chris Coleman sentenced Sunderland to League One before staining his CV further with a sacking in China. How do you get sacked in China? All you have to do is just stand there, pretend to look busy, and pocket £6 million a year. Tottenham Jose Mourinho. I remember back in 2012 when the red hot favourite to replace Harry Redknapp at Spurs was David Moyes. Would have been a match made in heaven. Neither party have a clue how to win a bastard trophy. Putting Moyes and Spurs together and expecting cup success, it would be like putting a nun in the same room as a Mormon and telling them to make a baby. They'd probably try to make it out of chunks of their own hair. But no, I'm going to go back to 2007 when Spurs tried their luck with the recently sacked Jose Mourinho. I respect the ambition, right? To try and persuade a Champions League winning two-time Premier League winner to spend his prime coaching Jermaine Genius in the Europa League. But it was never really going to happen, was it? Watford Paul Clement. Well, the appointment of Nigel Pearson was pretty left field, but no. Only a few weeks ago, the Hornets were getting linked with the move for Paul Clement. Yeah, great shout. The lad who wasn't able to last more than 6 months at any of his 3 former clubs. West Ham, Harry Redknapp. West Ham are a funny old fish. They're the type of ambitious, semi-delusionary club who'll make offers for Carlo Ancelotti, Rafa Benitez, Jurgen Klopp, only to wind up with David Moyes. How about this for a headline?
West Ham next manager, Harry Redknapp to be a hammer's target if Manuel Pellegrini is sacked.
That's the guy who quit QPR's relegation battle because his knees hurt. That's the guy who hasn't done anything of note since 2012. The only thing that man has won since 2008 is a Bush Tucker trial. Wolves Alan Kerbersley.
Wolves fail with second Alan Kerbersley approach.
Yeah, this was back in 2012 when Wolves wanted to replace Mick McCarthy with someone, anyone. After a series of knockbacks, they decided to preserve their ego from any more bashing by just sticking Terry Connor in charge. Which is a bit like divorcing your wife, spending your first night getting rejected by anything with a pulse, before saving yourself any more embarrassment by just getting married to your goddamn dog. Anyway, that's the video, lads. Let me know, have there been any I missed out on? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.